Hi, would you like to join me for dinner? And maybe a little story about um, lessons that I've learned in my life? Um, well, anyway, let me show you what I'm eating. Um, I'm eating potatoes. You can see potatoes. I had some pasta that I reheated in the air fryer, and then my lettuce, and yeah, really, really exciting food, right? Um, and actually, I woke up. Okay, for those of you who are not aware, I've been um, I've been on a healing journey for quite a while, but especially in the last 6 months, um, everything I kind of got placed here in my room, kind of put in a little timeout here in my room. um, and really, it's been 6 months. It's been 6 months that I've been trying to recover, and chronic illness is no joke. But actually, I think that it is all related to something that's happening on an internal level, on a soul level, that I was placed here on purpose to be going through this right now. Specifically, what I'm going through right now in my, oh my gosh, my ears. In my evolution of my soul, basically. I know that may sound weird to some people, but I can't deny, like, some of the really what you might consider crazy things that have happened to me in the last 6 months. Just so many things, and I may talk about those another time, but anyway, I have to eat a certain diet for my health. It's just what I can actually process. So I eat a lot of potatoes and butter lettuce and spinach, and I also have like gluten-free pasta that I make. It kind of helps to slow down the detox process. Anyway, if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about my healing journey, you could always just go to my Instagram, which is at limdessa. You can just go to that. Excuse me, if you want to know more. But that's not what I wanted to talk about today. I hope it's okay that I'm eating right now. What I wanted to talk about is, I want to tell a story that happened when I was about 10. I think it was about 10 or 11, playing on a playground in Germany. But before I get to the story, I want to talk about how when we come as babies to this earth, we are accepted and loved exactly as we are. We don't have to prove anything. I'm speaking in general terms, okay? I know that some children are not loved. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying in general that that we all accept that babies are perfect the way they are, and that they have nothing to prove, and we don't withhold love most of the time. We don't withhold love or expect anything out of them. Those expectations are not placed upon them until they get a little bit older. And in reality, we're supposed to be like that our whole lives. We're supposed to feel that kind of love our whole lives. We're supposed to give that kind of love our whole lives, and not place all these expectations on other people, and they're not supposed to be placing them on us as well. What I'm really trying to get at is that you don't love people because of what they do. Your love does not depend upon what somebody does. You love somebody just because they are, just because they are who they are, just because they're alive. You love them. Too many times in this world, that is not the case. And most of us, at some point, we learn that love is conditional and that you have to earn it. And that is a really sad thing that we teach by our examples, and it perpetuates itself from generation to generation. And it never should be that way. We come here, like I said, we come here perfect as we are. What the heck changed? Just because we got a little older, what the heck changed? Like, our value doesn't change just because we get older. We're the same value as we were when we were born. So I just think it's a really crazy concept that you can be born perfect and loved and accepted without having to do anything, without having to lift a finger. In fact, everyone else does everything for you when you're a baby, right? And then once you start walking and talking and and exploring your world, that's when everything starts to change. Everything starts to become a world of rules and expectations and not unconditional, but conditional love. Like, I know that most of us don't mean to put conditions on our love for each other, but that's what we are actually doing when we withhold love because somebody didn't do something that they were told to do, or that we expected them to do, or they didn't do it the way we wanted them to do it, or whatever, like where we start to place value on the person only by the things that they do, instead of retaining the value of the person that you once acknowledged as intrinsic value, eternal value of somebody, just because they are, just because they live, just because they, you know, has nothing to do with what somebody does, what they do, what they don't do. Okay, well, anyway, I just want to say that first, and now I'm going to go into my story that happened when I was living in Germany. And I love Germany. There's a lot of wonderful people and experiences that I've had while I was there. But this just illustrates an example of what I'm talking about. I was on the playground with one of my other friends. My family was a military family, and so that's why we were in Germany, because my father was in the military, and so our whole family was there for a couple of years. But anyway, I was about 10 or 11 playing on the playground, and there were two girls that I hadn't met, and I was with one of my American friends at the time, and there were these two other girls that you know, we wanted to play with, and they wanted to play with us too, or at least they acted like they did. There was a language barrier because we just had very limited knowledge of German, you know, maybe just a little bit to get by, and they spoke a little bit of English, but not a lot. But anyway, this is I'm gonna call this story the Sandbox. Okay. So we started to introduce ourselves, agreed that we wanted to play together, and they were like, let's play Cowboys and Indians. And we were like, okay. So I think they made us the Cowboys and they were the Indians. And so we started to play, and then like they had like a stick or something that they made into, they pretended like it was a peace pipe or something like that. And so we're like in this little pretend tent with the Indians, and we're the Cowboys, and so we go around, you know, passing that peace pipe around. And then at some point, and you know, we were basically in a sandbox, right? So at some point in this passing the pipe around, I honestly don't even know what happened, but all of a sudden, they picked up sand and threw it into our eyes, and we didn't know what was going on. And then they started saying some really mean things, things which I think they didn't quite even understand themselves. Started saying things about Americans, and then they were telling us that we need to go back to America and get out of their country. And you know, I didn't quite understand where they were coming from, because I thought we were playing together so nicely. But then obviously they were upset by something, and the only thing that I could think of was that this is not even like, somebody told them, someone told them some bad things about the military people that are here from the United States. You know, somebody's been telling them stuff, and now they're like mad at us for being there. Which, you know what, I could understand that. If I were in their shoes, I may have the same kind of ideas. But honestly, they were only 10 or 11 years old. Those are not ideas they came up with on their own. These are things that have been projected onto them by somebody else. And because I'm absolutely sure that a 10 or 11-year-old would not have thought that up on their own. I really don't think so. So these attitudes about Americans and the military being there in their country had to come from, I don't know, maybe parents or other adults in their lives that they've heard speak about things like that. And so they adopted those attitudes and ideas as their own. And, unfortunately, it caused them to have ill feelings towards us. We're the innocent, all of us, all four of us, innocent children that are now, not playing nicely together because of somebody else's influence upon us. Okay? So I guess what I'm saying is, and I don't have any hard feelings towards those two girls, because I really feel like they were innocent victims of society, just as we are. And I say victims, and I actually, I don't know if I mean victims, but I do mean that we all, at some level, have experienced what I'm talking about, where, you take this innocent little baby, us, all of us being the innocent little baby, and as we grow up, you have certain expectations and place value on people based on what they do or how they move about in life and what they think and what they feel. And then you place importance, or you place all these filters on people, and you treat people accordingly to how you view them with the filters that you place on them and on then get placed on yourself as well. And so you go from being that innocent person, that only knew love, didn't know all these various different expressions of emotion that, a lot of times are unnecessary. I don't even know, I think you get where I'm going, but I'm not really articulating it as well as I would like, which is actually one of the issues that I've had, my whole life, is, being able to bring this down to here, to get out what's in my head and in my heart. And it's always been a struggle for me to put thoughts and feelings into language, because it just never comes out as well as the pictures in my mind. It's hard for me to translate all of that. I often wish that I could be like Spock and just, download to people how I am thinking and feeling. But anyway, I just wanted to share that story to just kind of remind us all that we're all in the sandbox. We all have played the cowboy and the Indian. We've all done that. We've all been programmed to do that. Okay? And the people playing those parts, I think oftentimes they don't even realize that they are doing that, and that they are causing harm for someone else and causing someone else to not feel loved and accepted. And it's become something that has been accepted too often by society, because we forget who we are, who each of us is on that soul level. We forget that we were once that beautiful, pure, joyful little baby that came into the world. And in some ways we still are that little baby. And there never should have been a point in our lives where we weren't loved and accepted just for being here. And it's tragic when that's the thing that happens to all of us, and that we experience the opposite of what we should experience. So I don't know. I think my point is that there needs to be a lot more unity in this world, and a lot more, not that you have to sacrifice yourself in order for others to feel unity. That's not what I mean. I don't mean that you can't be yourself. What I mean is that we all need to have the freedom to be ourselves, to love ourselves, and for other people to be themselves and to love themselves, and that we should also in turn love each other. That's the only way to peace on earth, is to love and accept people, see people like they're little babies. You having a problem with somebody, having a hard time loving your enemy, so to speak, whether that's somebody you know or somebody you don't know. Even like if you think about world leaders in the political world, having a hard time loving somebody, imagine them as a newborn baby, and then see if that can help you to view them a little bit differently. I know that that's happened for me many times in my life, where I've had a hard time with somebody, I felt hurt by them, but then when I have looked at them the way I would see them if they were that little baby again, or the little 5-year-old or whatever, it really makes a huge difference in the way I feel about somebody. And it helps me to not hang on to the hurt, because actually when you hang on to that hurt, it hurts you more than anybody else. So those are just some thoughts. Love each other, Love yourself. Accept each other. Accept yourself. Accept everyone exactly as they are, because everyone is doing the best with what they have, even when it doesn't look that way, and even when we put our judgments on them because we want them to do it a certain way. We need to stop doing that. We just need to accept one another and love one another. All right, well, that's all I have for today. I love you.